What's good YouTube, and welcome to the house. Yes, the Banlist has shaken things up. It's torn up the market, and people are making speculations on how to fix their decks, what's going to be the best deck, what they're gonna be playing, and tons of people are already making those moves. But you guys have chosen a giveaway for this month, and that's the OCG field centers that are in this clear plastic. You can kind of see through them, and they're really awesome. So I'm gonna give all 5 of these away to one lucky duelist. All you gotta do to enter this giveaway is like this video, be a subscriber, and yes, I can tell who is subscribed. You should have your settings to public for subscriptions if you want to enter this. And I want a feels good story about Yu-Gi-Oh! In the comment section below. I feel like all too often we hear the negative things, the bad beat stories, the I want to quit Yu-Gi-Oh! Stories, but I want to hear from you guys a feels good story. For me, actually, at one of the Oklahoma regionals, this young lad had his deck either misplaced or stolen, and the entire community came together to replace his Blue Eyes deck. It was actually really awesome to watch that at the event happen. I want to hear from you guys. It doesn't have to be a locals, a YCS, a regional, just pertaining to Yu-Gi-Oh! A feels good story. And I'll pick one at random. I'm sorry, I gotta give some RNG to this, otherwise I'd probably pick some of my favorite duelists. So it will be completely random from the comment section below, as long as it's a feels good story. That being said, let's get into today's Market Watch, starting with Scrap Recycler. Gotta love some short prints and Fist of the Gadgets. We do see one copy already back at $7 before the other $12 copy, but only 2 prices. So Scrap Recycler is how people are looking to fix Orcust moving ahead. This is a 1-card Orcust combo. So people are looking at Scrap Recycler, Mathman, and other such ways to play the engine or play the deck within using their normal summon, and that's perfectly fine. I understand that not any 2 cards is an Orcust combo. You've lost a Mermaid, and you've got to find ways forward. But looking over on eBay, it's actually really sad to basically see this old price end up being like, this is what Scrap Recycler was going before, like, all the Orcust price. This old price after reprint being what it's going for. So just kind of one of those weird looks at the market where it's like, man, full circle. This was just so recent, and now it's back where it was. Orchestrated Return is getting a lot of hype. This was the most mentioned card in the comment section on my Banlist reaction video, where I was asking you guys what cards are getting bought out so I could do a market watch. This card, by far the most mentioned. I think it's a good card. It does come with its set of restrictions, though. And I think Orcust, the engine, will be something that's still heavily played. It's heavily underestimated, and people are looking for ways to fix it. I do think this will see play, but I'm wondering how much play it will actually see. Elemental Hero Stratos Ultimate Rare. We actually covered this on the Market Watch leading up to before the Banlist with Hero Hype, and it was already going up, so this actually isn't the biggest raise from where it was at then. We're seeing a $65 price point. And remember, OTS Pack 9 was shorted, so people freaking out about this with Stratos going to 3, I don't think this is actually the biggest jump up for it. I think this is relatively tame, and I don't think it's that big of a freak out. Now, do recall that like OTS Pack 5 replaced this. There wasn't many of these, so there's very limited versions of this Ultimate Rare on market versus the regular OTS Pack ultis. Also looking around, Vision Hero Ferris only has 16 prices and has already jumped over on TCG Player. On eBay, it's still readily available at a lower price. You see these sponsored posts, then it still stays under 10 for a while, but it is quickly going up. If you have interest in the future of heroes, we know they're going to get a little hype from being in Legendary Duelist. We have confirmed Jaden's getting new hero cards in there, and they typically tend to give 1 or 2 good ones at least per set. The update really could bring them to the modern age with these changes, so I would get Ferris sooner than later. Using my TCG Player link in the description only when it saves you money, costing you nothing extra where you'd already be shopping. So yeah, maybe looking around at other stuff you might be searching for, it's worth it, but definitely not for Ferris. Go and get yourselves the best deals for it right now. And I want a huge discussion on this real quick. This is into the last few market watches. You guys have been back and forth with me on this. I want to clear it out in the air here what I think. Evil Hero Malicious Bane and Adusted Gold are way too much, but for the reason that international copies are grossly grossly underpriced versus them. Towards the 25, 26 euro range and 25 euros over here for a dusted gold versus 85 and $70. Whenever you have that much of a disparity in Yu-Gi-Oh! For cards that are legal in other regions, you're going to see pro players grabbing as many of these as they can before they come overseas, and when they come over, they're going to be like, sure, I'll sell this for 50, 55, great. They're going to just try to sell as many as possible, and you're going to see the quantities spread between both. Now, to your points, it is a legendary duelist, and that's very fair. There will be limited quantities, and vendors stopped cracking open legendary duelists so much because these are so shorted. So they're over here in the US anyways. So with so few copies over here, yet many copies seemingly over here at a cheaper price, there will be a point where these meet in the middle. Now the question is where the middle actually will pull towards. It's not going to be just directly between their prices. There's going to definitely be a coolant at some point though on these cards in the US, thanks to the European copies and people making big moves over there. So we just have to wait and see what's going to happen there. But let me know your thoughts. Do you think there won't ever be a coolant? Do you think that hero hype from the ban list is going to lay into this and it's going to solidify? Or do you think, like me, that these international copies, while they are trending somewhat upward, they're trending upwards because of our price, first off, a little bit. People are looking like, I don't think I want to pay that ever. I'm going to get them way cheaper. But also, like, they're going to end up coming over here. That's just how the Yu-Gi-Oh! International market works. Now, I was looking through Thunder Dragons, and there's a couple of baby bump prices, like Hawk being at 6 right now. But this is one of the best decks for cheap. Ultimate Colossus actually jumped about $10 after my reaction video, so it's towards $43. But everything else is so affordable. I feel like this is going to be the deck to play against. Like, I prepared for Sky Strikers at Fort Worth. It did end up being a very big chunk of Top Cut, but I think moving forward, this is the deck a ton of people in the room are going to have, and you're going to have to play to beat, and you're going to have to start considering the mirror match more. A lot of people are also bringing up Salomon Greats and sign-up minings and how solid in price they are, and how I don't want to really spend. Can I replace it? If you're playing Salomon Great, you're playing sign-up mining at 3, most likely, and I don't want to hear about the discarding for super rejuve combos. Please stop. The sign-up mining is a pretty freaking good card. Overall, I think Cyverse Duelists have upward potential for this card in the future with Agnister and other archetypes with it, of course, Marincess, but I also think that there's a clock on it to be reprinted within the next year, so you're rushing towards that with the WCQ season, maybe even the March set. It's kind of buy at your own risk, but yes, if you're playing solid, I think you're stuck paying a price like this. This is not hype prices. This is about where it's kind of been towards for a while. I personally would go with Thunder Dragons. That's what I played for YCS Fort Worth. I really like the deck. I think it's relatively budget for what it is, and there's many ways to put this together. Thanks to the Megatins having Nibiru, the prices are still down. We see ridiculous quantities from sellers like Chow Productions. This is still the competitive Mega 10 market that people have been waiting for, and I don't think they're going to be spiking too much, so I think you have time to grab these cards, even with the low prices on some of these, because you'll have alternate versions of the cards too. The Mega 10, what a great job this year. They really did good with those Megatons. Transcode Talker has baby bumped up. Look at this market price, 66 cents. You have trouble buying it for under $1, period. I would definitely have copies of this, especially if you're a Salmon Great player. People are talking about it, and Update Jammer plus Transcode, Salad's gotten a lot more aggressive from what it used to be. So I think you want to look for your OTK plays. I think you want to look for what you have access for as a Cyverse player in general, especially when you're investing in these generic Cyverse cards. And it's really good. By the way, Legacy of the Duelist, the video game, I saw at Walmart's already down to $33 if you're looking for the promos, like just sealed. So that's already gone down in price too. That was pretty fast, pretty quick. I wonder why. Also looking around, the Shaddoll stuff has gone way up for its max rarities. Do remember this gets a structure deck. So at first I thought, wow, this is the end of the hype. This is it. But then Valentine's Day is gonna come around, and don't you want a doll to take out? Gosh, please, no. I'm done. I'm sorry. But seriously, these prices have gone up to here. You see competition where the first head's only $1 above the unlimbs. Obviously, people would take the first set if they're really gonna buy into the hype, but I think these will cool down over time. This is the pinnacle of buyouts for Shaddolls. You might see some recurrence towards Valentine's Day when the structure comes out, especially if it's very good. I could see it being a budget deck. I would love for us to be playing Shaddolls at the WCQ in 2020. What a full circle that would be, especially if it's budget. But I could see people wanting to max rarity and out for that if it is very good. So there is a chance for this to swoop back up after it cools off after this ban list, but we're going to see the most competition and the most copies on market for now. And also to note, Gizmek is an archetype now, and it's got a relatively insane brother coming soon. So I don't think they'll tie them together. I certainly actually don't hope they tie them together. These cards are insane as is, but I do think that looking forward, a lot of builds are still going to be playing Gizmek Orochi, even if it's at 1 or 2, but I would pay attention to this card still. I think it's definitely gone up above the radar at certain points and then back under, but looking at Orca's combos not being able to use any two, I still think they're going to use Gizmek under the restrictions that their deck provides. So look around, always keep... Oh, I wanted to look up Avermax too, right? Mekk-Knight Crusadia Avermax. I wanted to see where he's at after everything. So I still feel like Avermax is a card you should have access to as well. Look at the BLS link, look at certain things that have just spiked over time. I think Avermax is a pretty heavy sleeper too after the ban list if you're looking for certain things to go into. But that's just my opinion and take on it. What's yours with the ban list? Do you think this is the way to play Orcus moving forward? What's going to be your take on Orcus? Is Cyber Orcus still alive with the loss of Mermaid? How are you going to move forward with your Orcus deck, your Salomon Great deck, knowing that the meta relatively improved for you, and your Thunder decks? How are you going to approach this metagame? Please, again, subscribe if you haven't already, like this video to enter the giveaway, and leave that comment down below of a feels good story, man. Thank you, everybody.